Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Secure Partnership series, where I discuss tips and tricks for presenting professionally online and securing partnership and sponsorship opportunities. The information in this series is by recruiters for creators, so if you know anyone that this information could benefit, please send it their way. For a little bit of background, I'm a recruiter that actively looks for creators to partner with the company I work for, so I want to give you guys the knowledge that I have to increase your chances of getting noticed and contacted by companies and recruiters like myself. When it comes to creators and business partnerships, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of us have not been taught email etiquette. Some of us might have picked up some things here and there as we go along, and others might be fortunate enough to come from a professional background that actively encourages and reinforces those kinds of professional email behaviors. But a lot of creators don't come from that background and are just learning as they go. I was one of those people that just learned as they went until I took a business and professional writing course in college. Then from there, my emailing and communication style improved greatly, and as I transitioned into the corporate world outside of college after I graduated, it progressed even further to the point that I'm at now. There is a growing demographic of people who are pursuing content creation or want to pursue content creation, and a large majority of them are considered amateurs. According to a HigherVisibility study that surveyed over 1,000 people from the ages of 16 to 25, over 1 in 4 of them wanted to pursue content creation, and 16% of them even said that they would be willing to pay to pursue that. Additionally, according to SignalFire, of the roughly 50 million content creators that are monetizing their content in some way, 46.7 million of them are considered amateurs because they're only monetizing part-time. That's over 93% of content creators. The creator economy is just such a diverse space with contributors of all kinds, and it would be silly to believe that everyone who's monetizing their content is a perfect professional. So let's go over 4 important do's and don'ts to make sure your emails are as professional as they can be. Let's start with one of the most important aspects of an email, which is actually at the end, the signature. They are highly customizable, and you can tell a lot about a person by how they sign their emails, so let's make sure you're leaving a good impression. A signature's purpose is to provide important information to anyone that you're corresponding with and to present well at the end of an email. The amount of information you display in your signature is completely up to you, but keep in mind that what you choose to display in your signature should be what you'd like that person emailing you to know about you. For example, are you giving out your full name? Are you giving out a nickname or a social media handle? Or do you want them to have multiple ways of getting in contact with you? Which accounts do you consider to be your primary ones? Recruiters, business contacts, etc. are going to be finding you at different points in time from different pieces of content, and most likely from different platforms if you're posting to more than one. So you can't go into every email exchange knowing that that other person knows everything about you, because that's simply not true. Having a baseline of information you want that other person to have in your signature is going to really help maintain a professional and respectful set of communication with that person. One option for creating an email signature is to keep it simple and text-based. This could be something as simple as just your name, but you could also include information such as your job title or a relevant position, a company that you represent, a phone number, or other sorts of contact information like reiterating your email address, or hyperlinks to prominent social media accounts or a website of yours. Another option is to spice up the imagery a little bit and add a graphic of some kind into your signature. This could be by replacing the text, either entirely or just a portion, with an image, or by including a company logo, profile picture, image of yourself, or any other branding asset into the mix. Doing this can liven up your signature a little bit, incorporate some branding or aesthetic choices into your emails, and have that information be more easily caught by the eye. If you do go down this road, I do highly suggest using a tool like Canva because it is free and they have a lot of templates, and they give you the ability to do this on your own from scratch if you wanted to as well. This signature, for example, uses an image that's 350 pixels by 200 pixels and has text above and below the image with an additional icon underneath the main graphic. Signatures can be created and assigned quite easily across pretty much every emailing platform there is, Whether it's a large-scale email provider like Gmail or Outlook, or a more service-based provider like Comcast or Yahoo, there is an option to have a signature created, so you should be able to easily do this across the board. Providers like Gmail also have the option to have multiple signatures used in different situations. So for example, you could have outgoing emails have your image-based signature in there to really catch that person's eye to that information, and then you could have replies to other emails be a more text-based signature. It's totally up to you whatever you do, but you do have that level of customization with a larger provider such as Gmail. And I'm using them as the example because I personally use them a lot for my business emailing, so that's just the one I'm most experienced with. When it comes to sending emails from your phone, I think we've all seen the dreaded "sent from my iPhone" signature. These kinds of emails normally come from someone who is away from their computer but wants to respond to an email promptly. But there are a significant amount of people who email solely from their phones. In case I wasn't obvious about this in the previous section, signatures tell a lot about you to the person you're emailing. Mobile emailing, specifically those that are blatant about it coming from a phone, they come off as unprofessional and almost blatantly disrespectful at times. While many mobile email apps do have the option for a mobile-specific signature to be set, there are still limitations. For example, going back to Google and Gmail, you can't include imagery into your mobile signature. So that fancy one that we created earlier, we can't use that if you're emailing from your phone. A lot of times it won't carry over a desktop made and set signature as well, so if you're going the mobile route, you do have to have a new one from scratch made, and again, without the imagery, at least for Google. So if you are emailing from your phone, make sure that you either have a mobile signature set or type one out as you're writing it to make sure that your email is still coming off professionally. The last thing you want is to have a mobile signature ruin the professionalism of the interaction. Let's move away from signatures because that was a lot. Let's now talk about the body of the email. Emails are not like essays or assignments from school where you have to have everything contained into long paragraphs. Each separate thought should actually have its own separate section within an email, no matter how short it is. What do I mean by this? Let's look at an example so I can just point it out for you. In this scenario, you're in talks with someone who reached out about a sponsored post. You want to clarify how you'll be paid, when you'll be paid, and what type of content they're expecting you to create. In this scenario, there are 3 topics that you want to be discussing in the email, and 2 of them are connected as they're about the payment. Take a look at these 2 examples and think about which one comes off as more professional. The content of these 2 examples are exactly the same sentences in the same order followed by a signature. But what changes from the first example to the second is that the ideas were separated into their own sections within the body, and the signature was replaced from a text-based one to a professional image-based one just to show more effort being put into that conversation. This allows for the second example to be easier on the eyes of the reader, allow the reader to easily identify the different sections that you're trying to talk about, and it comes off as showing more effort was put into the response, and thus it comes off as much more professional. People don't like reading walls of text, so if you can avoid giving them a wall of text in your email, always do. The final tip that I have for you guys is to always reply all in an email if you can. There might be times when you're emailing just one person back and forth, but if a recruiter or business contact or someone of that sort is CCing other people onto those emails, it's best to hit reply all in your response. In my experience, the other people that are CC'd are members of that person's team, whether it be a manager, another representative, just someone that can be involved in the conversation, even passively, just so they know where they are with that project. So if that initial contact is unavailable for whatever reason, whether they're sick, they had to take a day off, they're on vacation, something like that, your project's not put on hold because they're not physically in the office. You're not expected to address them in the emails if they're not actively participating in the conversation, but in my personal experience, it's always best to reply all if there's multiple people on that email chain. So let's recap what we've gone over so far, because there's been a lot of information and we need a little roundup here. Create a unique and professional signature. Avoid emailing from your phone if you can, but if you can't, make sure it still comes off as professional. Separate your thoughts within the body of an email, and reply all whenever possible. Keep these tips in mind when you're writing your next email, especially if it's to a recruiter, a business contact, or anything of the sort that would require a level of professionalism. Others will take note of how professional or unprofessional you are, and you never know whose recommendation can spiral into your next opportunity. If you've made it this far, I want to sincerely thank you. My hope for this series is to guide others to set themselves up for success. So if you found any of this information to be helpful, please let me know, as I would love to know that my videos are having a positive impact on others. With that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever your time zone says it is, and I'll see y'all later.